And she said thank you for the plug for LCO.
This went by quick today.
Yeah, it did.
Cool. At 87 years old, we don't expect him to.
Yeah, he doesn't. And that's okay. You know, I just keep doing.
Yeah.
I keep losing service.
Welcome back. We have about 10 minutes left in today's show. Our guest is Alexis Johnson, Scranton area native, who is sharing a most remarkable story about incredible.
I like the best.
Yeah.
Because now we're going to talk about recovery.
Right.
You've told us a story that is unbelievable. And if you weren't sitting here, we wouldn't believe this. I mean, you know, I said to Suzanne when we started this, you can't make this SH1T stuff up.
Right.
But you can. And people aren't going to believe your story. People don't believe the things I tell them that I've done. Now, you're at the depths of despair. You've gone through hell. And at some point now, you decide this has got to stop. And you turn your life around.
Yep.
And that's what I want to hear about now, because recovery is possible.
Yes, it is.
You're a living example of recovery is possible. I'm an old head, 1998, I stopped drinking. So what? I didn't deal with what you've dealt with. So let's hear about recovery.
Okay. So when I got arrested, I went back to jail, and then I went to the Salvation Army. I spent 14
Which
months
Salvation Army?
in Harrisburg. So I spent 14 months in jail and rehab. The chance to have something like that. They brought in a 3-piece little band and just, you can go home and see your family. You were treated like a human being who literally had a bad disease.
So there was no stigma.
Nothing.
Right.
There was nothing.
No stigma of
Nothing.
addiction at the Salvation Army.
Nothing.
Everybody was loved equally.
Yes. It didn't matter if you had $1 million or a penny when you walked in that door. Everybody was one person, as an equal playing field. You were there to get better and to get a sober, recovering lifestyle. It's a 6.5-month program. I stayed there a year, and I moved out to Harrisburg, and I haven't looked back. I changed my people. I changed my places. I changed everything about my life. Got a new phone number, got a new email address. I deactivated my old Facebook and just started like everything fresh. I started over. My parents understood. I had the support of my parents, so I'm very grateful. Today I sponsor 3 people. My sponsor, some people have their views on this, is actually a man. He's in his 60s because women and I have a little bit of a tough time. And he's very spiritual. I want what he has.
I don't mean to keep interrupting, but you say some people
okay.
have a hard time with that. In recovery,
Correct.
It's encouraged that women stay with women
Yes.
and men stay with men. It's encouraged. It's not
Correct.
a rule. It's not
Right.
a law. So I don't want anybody to misunderstand that.
Right.
So if that's working for you, then you got to keep doing it, because everybody's recovery is their own.
Thank you. It is so refreshing to hear that, because it is. Everybody has a different recovery program. And now even with social media, there is so many outlets to go. They have meetings online if you can't get to one. Or if you have children and you just can't get there, they have all these different forums where you can go and outlet. So I have 3 sponsees. I take women through the book. I actually just met my one up in Tunkhannock yesterday. I worked my way up from nothing, where I just got back from Los Angeles last week. I just shot Maxim magazine, which was my dream. I worked 2.5 years for that. I said, I'm going to shoot Maxim 2.5 years ago, and I just did it.
All right, tell us what that is, because old guys like me have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, come on.
I didn't even know they still printed magazines.
They do. It's a national magazine, so it's pretty big.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So I've been in Vogue, all of these things that I've done, except for Vogue, because we recreated the painting Ophelia, but every other thing that I've done has been addiction awareness related.
How long have you been clean?
I just celebrated 31 months.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, now what's next in life?
Okay. 2 weeks ago, I just took that proverbial leap. I left my job. It was a very great job. The company was fantastic, and I'm very grateful to them.
Well, give them a plug. Who was it?
I was a finance manager for Brenner Nissan, so if anybody needs a car, you go to Brenner Nissan and you buy it,
There you
because
go.
they were very good to me. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't what I needed to be doing at this point in my life. So I left, and I'm pursuing motivational speaking. Tomorrow, I am launching my Survivor T-shirt campaign.
Excellent.
For me, and this is my opinion, I think that the word addict has a very negative connotation word with it. As soon as I mention the word addict, people's walls come up. So
Right, and then we're back to that stigma.
and then we're right back
we
to
come back
that.
to that stigma of addiction that people think addict. They're
Scumbag.
picturing something
Exactly.
from a black and white movie from the 50s.
Thank you.
Where the person is laying under the bridge with a needle in their
Yep.
arm, and that's it.
Yep.
People don't understand today that there are doctors, there are lawyers,
Yep.
there are Indian chiefs, there are school teachers, there's fire truck drivers, there's welders on nuclear plants
Thank you.
that are either taking pills or doing heroin or drinking. Addiction is everywhere. It is not exclusive of any socio-economic group. There are addicts everywhere. And we have to break this stigma
Right.
where when a person hears, oh, you're an addict, then they immediately turn and all of a sudden they don't want
They
anything
don't want
to
to
do
hear
with it.
it. They don't want to hear it.
Right, so, and you've experienced that firsthand.
Oh my God, absolutely. For a lot of the beginning, it was you're an addict, you're a scumbag, you're a
Yeah.
junkie. Oh, love that
Scumbag,
word.
that's one of the favorite words
Yeah,
to hear, right?
scumbag. You deserve to die. You chose to put that needle in your arm. Yes, I did. I chose to put that needle in my arm. But I also chose because I didn't want to feel the way I felt, and I didn't know how to make that pain go away. Now, I could tell you that the word survivor gives people empowerment. And if it can make our youth or somebody, whatever is the up and coming generation, feel better, to feel more empowered, let's get rid of that stigma. It's 2018. What we're doing is obviously not working.
Mm-hmm.
We are losing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds a day. So let's change it. Let's change it. Let's keep the rules the same, the principles the same, the suggestions the same. But like Jack said, it's not the same as it was back in 1940 when it was just one thing. They're mixing cocaine, they're mixing weed, they're mixing all this stuff with fentanyl now. Like, these drugs are meant to kill you. They're meant to kill you.
And what's happening is it's just not 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. You're talking teenagers. You're
Yes.
talking youth. Youth who should just have everything ahead of them, and it should be fun, and it should be just life is great. And they're shooting up.
And they're shooting
snorting.
heroin. Yep.
And they're all doing it for the same reason. They want to change how they feel.
Yeah.
They don't want to
They
feel
don't
that
want to
pain.
feel whatever it is they're feeling. That black hole inside kids is being filled with drugs today.
But Jack, this is the thing. We know, like, us as recovering or recovered or whatever we are, we know that pain. We've all been there, like, to that black hole.
Mm-hmm.
We know that numbness and how we've gotten out. And for the people who have got out, if we don't keep showing, I can show you. I share this because people look at me and they're like, there's no way you've been to prison. There's no way you shot 50 bags. There's no way you took a knife to your face. Or kids have said to me, my life is going to be so boring if I get sober. Boring? I travel all over the country. I help, like, there's so much I do. I'm just on the cover of magazines, and this is what you could do. You have a hope, you have a dream. Let me help you find it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what being sober will do for you. You don't have to stick that needle in your arm.
People that don't understand recovery and don't understand addiction don't believe. People don't believe when I say I wrapped plastic bags around my head in a jail cell
Yeah.
because I thought there was no other way to go.
Yeah.
That I got off the phone call, I found out I had nothing left in my mind. No house, no car, no job, no money, no business and I thought that was the answer. People don't want to hear that.
No.
People don't want to hear that. They don't want to understand that that's where addiction can take a person. And that's what we have to do, is we have to interrupt that. We have to interrupt, we have to hit the pause button on that stigma
Yeah.
and say, look, this is everywhere. What are we going to do to help people understand it's okay? And I will tell you, even though I work in this business, even though I'm in recovery myself, when it affected my own child. I told you this before the show started. It was like flipping a light switch. All of a sudden, I went into denial. Not my kid. What, are you crazy? That can't happen.
Yeah.
And I do this. I sit and tell somebody else in the afternoon, your child needs to go into a long-term program. Your child needs this. Your child needs that. When somebody said that to me, I said, whoa, not my kid. So that stigma immediately arose in my own house.
And the thing is, you knew this, you went through it, you lived through it, and then when it came to your
When it
your
came to my own child,
nope, not my kid.
I went right to denial.
Yep.
So yes, somebody that doesn't have any education about recovery, any education about addiction, there is that stigma.
Yeah.
And they're not doing it to be harmful to us as addicts. They just don't know any better.
It's an ignorance.
So how do we
It
carry
is.
this message of recovery? We do it with this radio show, hopefully.
Yep.
And we do it with Facebook. And we tell people there is an answer, there is hope. If your son or daughter, your husband, your wife, your grandmother, your godchild is in addiction, there is hope. And there is an answer. The answer is recovery.
Yes.
Now, how do we get to recovery? Everybody's got a different path. But
Yep.
I guess we're out of time. Is that what you're telling me?
We are. I got that cue. We are out of time. Alexis, this was just fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who listened. We will have this show available tomorrow on our Facebook page at Sharing Recovery Radio. Have a good, safe, healthy week, and we'll be back to talk again. Take care.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.